My next guest, she's a professional mixed martial artist with a perfect record of 8 wins with no losses. Please welcome on to the show, Dakota Ditcheva. How you doing, Dakota?
I'm really good, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
No, thanks for taking some time out of your busy day. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So, Dakota, how's life been for you? Your last fight was in March. You're coming off a huge win, a submission victory, the first of your professional career. How has life been for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been really good to be honest. I feel like this time has gone so slow since March, and then
Yeah.
the fight now obviously in September. I feel like times I've just been waiting and waiting and waiting for the next round. But yeah, I've enjoyed kind of like having a little bit of time to, work on some things in between, the last fight to now. And I'm obviously over here in Florida at the moment, so life's good at the moment. Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Now, your professional career was in 2021, your first professional fight. So it's been a little over 2 years. Has this been the longest layoff in between fights for you?
Yeah, do you know what? I would probably say it has been. Yeah, last year I fought 4 times, so yeah, that kind of I was just taking over. I feel like that's what's good for me though. I like to be active and in the cage all the time. So this has probably been a little bit too long for me. I think I would have liked one fight at least in between, but it's given me a lot of time to prepare for the next round. And obviously, with it being my first tournament, it's kind of nice to just ease into it a little bit.
How have you adjusted, right? Because the world of MMA, right? It's blowing up. You're a great athlete, a great fighter. Obviously, PFL Europe, good win for you. How have you handled
Yeah.
the all the attention you've gotten?
Yeah, I've kind of just tried to stay as true to myself as I can, just be very humble. I'm still only young at the beginning of my journey. This attention that I'm getting at the moment is just practice for like when I've won the tournament and then I go on to the next stage. It's just all preparation for like the next stage for me. So I don't let it run too far. I've got a really like humble family that kind of just keep me on a level, and yeah, I think that's just the way I see it. I'm learning all the time. I'm still young, so there's so many people that are better out there than me now. So I've still, just got to keep my head down and keep working and just see it that way.
Does it get a little maybe annoying when people try to compare you to some other like great athletes when you're so young in your career? And again, you're a humble person, you're a humble individual. Does it kind of get annoying? Like, calm down, guys. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, and you know what? Even my own friends, like my friends all the time, they say like, you're so good. Like, look, you're
Yeah, of
just smashing through people, and I think like, guys, just take a chill. Like, I'm still learning, and this game is like anything can happen. Do you know what I mean?
course.
Like, it doesn't matter how good you are, you get caught with one punch, and it can all finish there. So, um, yeah, I think just the fact that I just keep my mind on training and not let all these like I love the fact that everyone's supporting me, and you do need that around you.
Yeah.
I think the self doubt sometimes can creep in, and to hear them voices of people believing in your help sometimes. So I don't see it as a bad thing, but sometimes I would just like people to just not add the little bit of extra pressure that I don't want.
Yeah. Now, you fought for the PFL before PFL Europe, right? But this time heading into PFL Europe, it's a big market there. Your face is on posters, you're getting promoted, right? They're right behind you. Did it like at that moment, did something different like hit you like, oh snap, like this is like, like real, like you're out there, the fans are, roaring for you. I mean, at what point in that fight, because I know you've said that, you felt a little bit more pressure in there. When did it hit you?
Yeah, I think the first round of the tournament,
Okay.
with kicking PFL Europe off, the whole thing just felt different. I don't know whether it was the fact that this time it's a tournament. So for one, I've got to get through to the next stage,
Of course.
um, and be in this position now. And for two, it's like me and Simeon together were kind of like the co main event and the main event of the
Yeah.
show. So it felt like all eyes were on us. We joke about and we say we're a little bit of a duo at the moment, like
Yeah.
kind of the PFL duo that everyone's kind of looking at. So I felt that bit of pressure. And obviously, I want to win the whole tournament. Like, I feel like even though I want to get to the final, every fight is just as important. So even though everyone was like, right, you just got to get through to the next stage, I wanted to win that fight. I wasn't bothered about the next one or thinking about the next one. So I felt like just the pressure of that fight itself was a lot. Yeah.
How did it feel to get your first submission win?
I was super happy. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't as shocked as everybody else. Like
A lot of people
everyone
were
kind
saying
of,
that.
yeah, everything that I looked at and read on the internet afterwards was like Dakota wins by submission. Like everything was by submission at the end. And I mean, it's nice to shock some people and, just put it out there that I have got a ground game and, I'm not just a striker. But yeah, I wasn't too surprised myself.
Now, your family, right? Your mother, Muay Thai background, right? A lot of people know who she is. Does that kind of add a little more pressure to you? Like, oh, like I am the daughter. I'm the daughter. I'm supposed to be as good as her?
Definitely, yeah. But I mean, I've had plenty of practice at that now. I'm kind of used to it, all through my Thai boxing career. It was kind of every show I went to, even like my first fight when I was young, everyone was like, this is Lisa Howard's daughter. So I've always had that, but I quite like it. I'm proud of the fact that my mum's like, this big name, and I quite like the little bit of pressure that I get to, live up to her standard. I like that.
Now, dad didn't fight. So
Yeah.
how hard was it hard to get dad's approval and for him, watching his little girl go out there and fight and get punched?
No, I mean, approval wise, he was like, he's cornered my mum before, and he's been away. Like sometimes back in the day, she used to take my dad instead of her corner because they'd only pay for one person, and she had a child as well. She had my older brother, so it was kind of like, well, I'll take my husband instead of my coach. So he's kind of like always been thrown in the deep end, and I mean, it's not something he'd choose his little girl to do, but he's quite acceptant of it, and I actually feel sorry for him a little bit. But he's the best dad. He's supportive in everything that I do. So
Now, your
yeah,
brother helps train with you, right?
yeah, he does. Yeah,
How has that helped you as far as having that kind of support, that strong support in your corner?
yeah. I mean, I still have my brother in my corner, even though I don't have my mum now. Just because I think just that family unit I've had right from the beginning,
Yeah,
that relationship with my mom and my brother, you know, they've always trained me since I was young. So moving over to MMA, it was kind of like, even though I don't have them in my corner anymore, I still have my brother, but I still have to find that kind of like relationship that I have with them in my other coach.
yeah,
Still have to feel that like, that bond where I connect with them and I trust them. And I feel like I've been lucky to have them up to this point that in my next coach, I need to make sure that it's the same.
for sure. Now you're at American Top Team now, right?
Yeah.
How has that helped you grow as a mixed martial artist?
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. I've been here. It's funny actually, because this time last year was the first time that I came to American Top Team. So being here in the same place now under different circumstances has been amazing. Like last time I came here, I was just here on like a 4 week trip to America to
Yeah,
like train at a few different gyms, and I ended up my last place was American Top Team, and I ended up staying for the rest of my camp. I loved it that much. So now a year down the line, I'm here again in I think it's my third or fourth camp with them. So yeah, I'm super happy here. I've just made so much progress, and the amount of girls that I get to train with,
yeah.
and just the sunshine that helps too.
Oh,
But yeah,
absolutely.
I've loved it here. Yeah.
Now, I know I'd ask you normally, what would you tell yourself, when this version of yourself to the person that, had their debut fight a little over 2 years ago, but you had posted something, about your, how life was from a year ago, right? To bring that
Yeah.
up, what would this version of Dakota tell that version of Dakota a year ago?
I'm proud. I'd be proud of it. I'd be really proud. I had a really tough time this time
Yeah,
last year. I mean, like I said on that post the other day, I had no money. Literally, I
yeah,
spent every single last penny I had on being here and bettering myself. I was struggling at home. I was a little bit lost in like, us fighters in between camp. We do go on a bit of a low. We get a little bit lost as to
yeah,
where we're heading and what's next for us. And like I said about the relationship with my mum and my brother, having them there all the time, it was kind of like I'd never really been anywhere to train or anything on my own. And I felt like
yeah.
that trip this time last year that I just took the plunge and booked one day when I was sat in the cafe on my own, more or less crying, was the best thing that I ever did for myself. So I'd just say that I'm really proud that I was strong enough to ride the waves that life was giving me at that time. And look where I've ended up now. So I'm very grateful for that tough period because it's brought me to here.
That submission win that you had was a great one. So now that you've had it under your career, I mean, what's more satisfying, a submission or a TKO?
definitely a TKO or a KO. I mean, that striker is always going to be inside me on number one. But yeah, I'd definitely say KO for sure.
Has there been someone that's influenced you besides family, that influenced you in your career that you like to like model yourself, or that just that you look up to?
Yeah, I mean, obviously my mom's always been like the forefront of it. Just
Yeah.
she's never pushed me to do it. She never wanted me really to fight. She knows what a tough life this is. So it wasn't something that she wanted me to do, but always looked up to her. And then just in fighting, I was always watching Valentina Shevchenko. She was obviously someone that I really looked up to because she'd started off in this similar career to me with the Thai boxing. She did the same tournaments that I did as an amateur, the IFMAs, and just her journey throughout the sport has been something that I think I've looked up to a lot.
Were you was there anything else on the table for you, Dakota? I mean, you're a great fighter. It's gone great for you, but was there something else that you were kind of like, I may want to try that, or I'm between fighting and this?
Not really, you know. I mean, it was
Yeah.
always going to be sport. It was always going to
Okay.
be sport. So that was something like I did football. I loved football. I did netball. I got gold medals in my first gymnastics competitions that I did, and I hadn't been training long as a kid. So there was always going to be something in sport that I could have done. If I asked my mum, she'd probably say something like singing and dancing because I
Yeah.
do like to sing sometimes. But no, this was kind of it was always I was always destined to do this for sure, 100%.
What's besides taking your family out of the equation, what's kind of been the hardest thing for you to adjust on like Florida and the US? Like for example, football to me is, the NFL, right? Football to you soccer, I know it's silly, right? But is what's kind of like had to be like the biggest adjustment for you?
Um, I mean, over here I don't have a car and everything is so far away.
Yeah.
Like where I live in the UK, like everything's just around the corner. I've got my own car, I can drive wherever I want. Whereas right now over here, I'm kind of like Ubering everywhere and
Yeah.
everything's just such a distance. So I think that's been a big change for me. I definitely need to get a car. Um, but yeah, apart from that, it would just be the family. You know, I'd do anything just to succeed in this sport. So the move over here hasn't really been that difficult. It's just the distance from the family has been a little bit hard.
To anyone that has never seen you fight, you're going to be fighting on September 30th, semifinals. What
Yeah.
can they expect from Dakota Ditcheva?
I mean, after my last fight, you can expect anything: a submission, a TKO, a KO. I've shown it all, right? But I mean, I'm making some really good improvements this camp, so I'm never in a boring fight. So if you come and watch September 30th, you know you can always expect fireworks. And I've said this before, but just expect what you see now because I don't normally look like this in a cage. I'm the
Now,
opposite.
for you, you've always continued to grow. A lot of people do say you're just different. What makes you different? Why do you feel people say those kind of things about you, Dakota?
um, I'm just never satisfied. I think
Yeah.
I just always know that I can do better. You know, there's always something to improve on. There's always someone better out there, and I think when you've got that type of mindset of not of being humble and knowing that you've still got stuff to work on, it can all go at any point. I think that's what makes a big difference. People get very kind of comfortable in their environments, and kind of just get too comfortable basically, and that's why I'm always pushing outside my comfort zones. I think that's what keeps me headstrong and keeps me in gives me a reality check all the time, I think.
Are you hoping that PFL, introduces a flyweight division in the US when it comes to the $1 million tournament?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I've been keeping my eye out for some of the flyweights that they've had
Yeah,
on the card as well. So I'm thinking there's quite a few girls over there that I
there
want to
is.
fight. So I don't want them to keep it in Europe for too long. I want to be I want us to have a big flyweight division and make this thing big. And I feel like us flyweights, we bring something to the table as well. We're quite exciting. So I feel like it'd be a good division to have for the global season, definitely.
Now, you're a fighter, you're training, you're always putting in the work. But, to the audience, that just sees that side, of you, just, what do you normally do on a day off, Dakota? What's a day off look like for you? Do you have a certain kind of hobby that you like to do? How do you decompress?
Um, do you know what? If you had asked me this last year, it would have been like just go shopping or
Yeah.
like just eat nice food or to spend time with family. But now being over here and being in my own space, I just like to relax. Training's tough. Training in camp
Yeah.
is a lot. Twice a day over at the gym, just constant hard work. I do like my own space, and I feel like I've learned so much in being on my own. So
Yeah.
aside from that, being on my own, I just like to, go out with friends. Like, I feel like this time I've come over here, settled in a little bit more. We had a
Yeah.
little bit of a boat day the other day with, a few people from the gym, which was really nice to make some friends and feel like this is home a little bit. So that's kind of what I've been doing, just experiencing new things. And yeah.
When you're not in camp, what kind of food do you enjoy eating? What kind of like cheat meal do you like?
Now, yeah, I'm a big foodie, right? I might be
Yeah.
a 125er, but I eat a lot of food. So I'd say 100%. I love like any Lebanese type, Turkish, Greek food, that type of stuff. I'll eat a big dirty burger, or pizza, or just
Tacos?
any food. Yeah, literally anything like that, I will eat. I'm always on TikTok, like scrolling. I feel like my whole TikTok now is just full of like people doing like food videos.
You definitely, do you ever look up places to go eat wherever you're traveling somewhere?
I do, last time I fought in New York last year at the end of the year, me and my brother had a full list, and it was super hard because I was obviously dieting for fight
Of
week, but I
course.
was making him eat at all these places just so that I could like make sure we'd eaten some good food and been to some cool places.
I, hey, I definitely can relate. My last question is, what kind of music do you like? When you work out or when you're just at home relaxing, what kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to all sorts, I mean, I can go from like Young Boy, like listening
Yeah.
to Young Boy, but then I love like Luke Combs, like country music. I'm literally all over the place. I listen to all sorts. It just depends my vibe. Like you said, in the gym, I like something a little bit more upbeat. If I'm sat like by the pool relaxing, I'll listen to a little bit of country music, or I'm a bit I'm a bit all over the place with the music.
Okay, okay. So you can adapt. That's awesome. Dakota,
Yeah.
is there anything you want to let the audience know or your fans know that are watching right now?
Just make sure that you're there for the semi-finals of the PFL Europe tournament, and then the finals, because I will be there too fighting. So yeah, just enjoy the show, and keep up to date with PFL, because we're only just getting started. We're just growing PFL Europe, so you can expect some big things coming for us for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, 8-0 professional mixed martial artist Dakota Ditcheva. Dakota, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.